Devon Morrigan, good afternoon to you. You'll pick it up with tourism. The sector is pleading with the government to consider reopening it fully. I think you're going to tell us by September. Is it ready?
Indeed. We'll find out in a moment, Jeremy. The Tourism Business Council highlighting some pressing concerns to Parliament, a shattered sector with catastrophic job losses and a sharply negative contribution to GDP. And let's not forget, Jeremy, that there are those people who may have planned year-end holidays. Where do the bookings stand? Well, Tshivhengwa is the CEO at the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. He headed the virtual tourism business presentation to Parliament, joining us now via Skype. Mr. Tshivhengwa, thanks indeed for talking to us. Ultimately, you made the call to government for tourism to open up by September at a time when COVID cases may just be at its peak. How have you convinced Parliament that hotels, resorts, travel will be ready by September?
Thank you for having me. Yes, we indeed talked to Parliament yesterday, motivating that we need to look at what's happening in tourism on the ground, and we need to look at reopening certain aspects of domestic tourism that are not yet open, and as well as have a time for opening the international tourism. Now, one of the things that we've put to Parliament is the protocols that we've put together as a sector throughout the value chain to say, how do we de-risk the sector to ensure that we operate safely, and we ensure that we protect our staff, we protect our customers, and make sure that also our suppliers are protected. And those protocols are quite comprehensive. We have been operating under level 5 and 4, especially in the hotel space, as quarantine sites and also as isolation sites. And we've learned a lot of lessons in terms of how to operate safely, how to make sure that the virus doesn't get spread across our properties. And we believe that those lessons have equipped us to be able to say, we are ready to operate, we are ready to get the value chain of tourism to go back to some level of activity within this period.
Oh, so there's been some sort of demonstration there. But even in your best case scenario that you presented to Parliament yesterday, where you have a return to activity both, in domestic and international tourism, you still have 1 million jobs being lost. You've also flagged that 60% of businesses are already unable to make debt repayments. So we still have a very, very dire state, even in the best case scenario there, don't we?
Absolutely. When we were dealing with, for example, the UIFTS program, I have seen for this month alone, these are the applications for the May that have been processed now. We expect that we will reach over 100,000 of applications for employees. These are the applications that we are tracking. So there are those that we are not tracking that may be even more, applicants that are coming through. So we believe that the situation is dire. There are a lot of employees that are now being sitting at home. They are not getting paid. They are receiving this TS program. And we believe that if we don't have some sort of an economic activity, this is going to get worse. We're projecting that we will have 600,000 direct jobs lost within our sector. And direct and indirect, it could mean around 1.1 million, 1.2 million jobs that may be lost. And this will be a significant contribution to unemployment. And we believe that, things that we've put in place enable us to go back to some level of operation that will, make us to sort of break even, protect the value chain, protect the small businesses that are dependent on tourism, to ensure that there is some level of activity and people are able to derive some livelihoods from that.
Lastly, let me ask you this. What happens if restrictions are loosened but demand just doesn't pick up because you have persistent fears among travellers, particularly internationally, about the virus? How do you contend with that?
So the international markets works in a way that, they want to trust us. They want to see that we've demonstrated that we can be able to operate safely. That's why we want to practice these protocols now with the domestic market, be it business and leisure travel, to make sure that we demonstrate to the world that, we are a safe destination and we are ready to open come September. We should be able to welcome guests that want to come to the country. Now, the issue around stimulating demand is something that we do very well professionally through all the marketing agencies, SA Tourism. This is something that we can get into a room and say, how do we stimulate demand? As a country, a lot of people are looking for social distancing. We have parks that people can come here and do safari in a social distance way. We've got lots of vast lands If you go to Free State, if you go to Mpumalanga, Limpopo, you go to Cape Town, people can be able to do things far away from others and still enjoy tourism. So we believe that we can be able to practice this safely. We believe we are a very much sanitized industry. We have been so for many, many years. That's why we believe that the likes of restaurants have been doing this for many years, and they should be able to operate in a socially distanced way, and they have been doing it in the past. And we believe that we are ready as a sector, through the protocols that we've put together, to put staff first, that our travelers and our suppliers, to make sure that, we operate safely within the space.
All right, for the sake of the economy, we hope that takes off as quick as possible, that safety will allow. Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa is the CEO of the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. Thanks indeed.